I think actually there might have been a bit of a legal issue there. You can fill a grease gun up and you put it away. Next time you come back, empty. Postage is not what they used to be. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I've got a question for you. What's that? Look at the yard as well. Look, it's absolutely, oh. It was a mud bath. It was an absolute mud bath until this morning, and it's now -1. And just, oh, it's fantastic. It's like proper winter, which is great. I've just come up because I'm going to go and do a bit of hedge cutting because it's now kind of dry enough to do a little bit. I'm going to do some on some tracks and then maybe get into some fields. But my hedge cutter, last time I checked, was just there. And now I don't know where it is. It must be around here somewhere. Actually, you know what? It might be on the other side of the grain store. Oh, if you're wondering why I'm limping a bit weird as well, I've got the world's worst case of sciatica. It's terrible. Actually, to be honest, oh, here it is, look. Probably not the world's worst case of sciatica, but it's up there. It's up there. I'm sure there's someone who's worse off than me. Although I am moving like a spring chicken compared to how I was on Saturday last week, which I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. Oh, honestly, I feel for anyone who suffers with this all the time. I get it on and off. But this is bad. This is the worst I've ever had it. It's cramping up my calves and oh my lord. Anyway, I'm hoping this thing starts. We did put a new, did we put a new starter motor on it? Bigger one, and it just boom, straight up now. So I'm hoping it will go. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Right, let's go and get some hedges cut. So I mentioned last week that I was going to show you our arable crops because we drilled 70 odd acres of barley and then 50, 60 acres of wheat, something like that, back in October. In 3 days we just like literally sat there and just threw everything at it, spent some serious hours, and well, this is what most of it looks like. Absolutely amazing, isn't it? All it did ever since we put it in was rain. It just started raining, and until really this week it's not stopped raining. There's a clay hole there. I don't know if you can see if I hold the camera up. There's a pond in it. I have never in my life seen a pond in that clay hole. I mean, it's a low-lying bit, but it's never held water like that. There's ducks coming off it all the time. It's just ridiculous. And the crazy thing is, it went in so well. It looked brilliant when we put it in, and I thought, we've got this. It'll do fine. But the weather came and it just swamped it out. This field, when it rains, as you can kind of see, it lies towards this corner, and it will just have a stream running down to where the hedge cutter is there. We have got a 14-acre field of wheat with about 12 acres in it, and we've got a 15-acre block of barley that's got about 11 acres in it, and that's it. Honestly, I just don't know what to do. Part of me is like, do we just run with that? Part of me thinks, do we mow it and whole crop it, just call it quits when we get to the spring? I can't quite make my mind up what we do with it. I think we're going to have a big change regarding growing arable crops, because it's not something I'm particularly excited about. I know there's a lot of people in this boat. It's not like we're in this boat and no one else is. You can't get any seed corn for the spring. It's mad. If I get a chance this week, I'll take you down and show you the crops that we have got, because they are pretty decent really for what kind of year we've had. But I find arable farming a bit of a chore at the best of times, so what we do going forward, I don't know. But we have got loads of grass, so, you know, swings and roundabouts, I guess. Back in the yard now, we've got some problems. We've got a puncture we need to sort out on here because it keeps going soft, and it's a bit of a slow puncture, so we're looking for it. You seem to think you found it, don't you?
Yeah, but it only goes soft at the bottom.
Yeah, as usual. And then we've got a bit of an issue with the straw shredder. We're going to sort that out in a minute. I know what most of you are going to say. You're going to say, I can sort that out by getting some new shoes on this, which yes, we could, but we're trying to make it see the season out, at least. Try to get it through the winter.
It only runs on concrete.
Yeah, it stays on the yard. We're going to try and get it through the winter if we can, and then we'll decide what we're going to do. Whether we're going to perhaps maybe swap it, which I don't know, I don't really want to because we really like it, but it's getting old and past its best, or we get some new shoes on it or whatever then, but just trying to get through it. Trying to get through the winter and see what happens. I think we found it. Yeah, look at that there. That's the plug Dad put in the other day. It's just a small plug, so we can have that out and put a bigger one in. But it's just bubbling when you spray it in the middle, because when you put those plugs in, it's like a long strip, and you push it in and it kind of folds into two. So it sits in there like that, and it's just coming out the middle. So that's the trouble. Put a new one in. We've got that plugged up there now. Before we blow that tyre back up, we're gonna just leave that and let the glue set, and then we're gonna have a tackle on the straw shredder, because the trouble with the straw shredder is behind here there's a belt. So the Mchale one's belt driven. I think it's about the same as the Kuhn. I think actually there might have been a bit of a legal issue there, but we'll not worry about that. Anyway, that's all belt driven, and it drives the beater roller, which is in the middle of there, which got all the knives on it. And sometimes it seems to, I don't know if it's because it's like 6-7 years old now or whatever it might be, but it just seems to slip on the belt. We've got a spare belt, we always carry a spare belt, so we're going to take that off, perhaps put the new belt on, because the belt kind of goes a bit hard and a bit whatever, and then see if that does a better job, because it started kind of blocking the rotor up every morning, even on straw. So we think there's an issue there because we changed the blades, so it's not going to be that. So we're going to put the new belt on and see if that improves things.
Perhaps the bigger body sits over the top. I always like them ones like that. Well, what was it like it did?
It is going now, look.
Oh, haha. Yeah.
Yeah, look, that's the problem. It's like it's like one belt, but with 4 ridges, and those 4 ridges have all started splitting, so they've all become 4 independent belts all the way across. That's why it's slipping, because it can slip on 3 of the belts and one sit there spinning.
Well, it's not
whatever.
driving on the edges, is it?
And it's not driving on the...
Sitting in the bottom of the V's.
Yeah, sitting in there, so it's not working properly. So it was probably a good thing that we went and took this off now and fixed it, because else it ends up being an emergency job.
Crunch it hard. Oh, come on, I'll set that behind.
We could be a Mchale dealer the amount of this stuff we keep in stock. You've got to keep these things in stock though, because we rely on this. This does all of our bedding, all of our feeding, does everything. So if this goes down, it's not good news. So just having a belt in stock for the price it costs, it's inevitable.
Last time we hadn't got one in stock, I ended up going Good Friday to Wardman's at Matlock, which is about an hour away, to get one. So I brought 2.
Yeah. So we always make sure we got a spare in stock, because it's always going to go like that. With a Good Friday, it's always going to go on the worst day. Tomorrow we've got a bit of a road trip that we're going on. I'm probably not going to film it, but we're going on a bit of a road trip and we've got to be early. So you can guarantee that belt there would have broke tomorrow morning when we needed to get off.
You see the difference in the...
Yeah, if you get this one, you can see now, look, that's like one belt and it's all together. This is all broken into 4 little belts. And it's kind of gone hard. I guess it's all the dust and the rain and the wet.
Newness.
Yeah, the newness is wearing off. We hear that a lot on this channel.
What's there for the top?
That's it. Right, so we've got that belt on now. This roller, I'm not going to put my finger in it because Dad's going to engage it. But this is what creates the tension. There's a little bit of a ram on there. So that's how you like engage it all, and that's got it tight now. But there is a setting, how much?
70 mil.
70 mil for here, I think, isn't it? So if you put that down to 70 mil, that creates the right amount of tension on there, which stops it slipping. So it's there or thereabouts, what, about a mil out?
About right.
Yeah, it's about right. So
now I've got a new belt. I didn't measure it while it's still got the old one on.
you can, yeah. That'll make all the difference, that will. Right, we'll put that guard back on then, and then we'll go and pump that tyre up.
My bloody yokes is. Alright, you need one.
Whilst Dad's blowing that up, I'm going to give the straw shredder a birthday. And you can tell Dad was the last one to use this because, like every grease gun, when you come to it, it's empty. It's the rule. You can fill a grease gun up and you put it away, next time you come back, empty. I don't know what it is about them, they're just never full. Hopefully, the second time lucky. Right, that's her done. So she'll be as good as new, I hope. I actually really like the Mchale straw shredder. It's been a good bit of kit, but kind of interested in the Teagle. I don't know if anyone runs a Teagle. We were thinking that we'd potentially swap this one day for some, maybe like an 8500, which is slightly bigger than this, but because the amount of work that it does, which is, I don't know, what are we doing? 15 odd bales a day, a half of which is silage. An 8500 probably would be the right replacement for this, but I'd be interested if anyone runs a Teagle, what it's like. We used to run a Coon, and I wasn't too impressed with the Coon, but maybe they've got better, I don't know. Colin Catley's a Teagle dealer, so he's not far away. I'd be interested in what people think, what their opinions are of them. And I mentioned I was going to bring you show our decent wheat, and here it is. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's there, which is good. Bit of grass weeds in it, which, I mean, I think you just take it this year. Even this bit, which is really heavy bit, is coming. You can't tell probably on the video, but it's actually like a bit of a valley, and I'll explain why in a minute when we look at the barley, which is the other side of that hedge. Fence has had a good Christmas as well. This fence is just, I put that fence up 10 years ago, something like that. I had a shearer working for me. It was a really wet time. We didn't have any sheep in the shed, so we put this fence up one day. Made a really good job of it, but the posts have all rotted off. There's loads here, and then further down that track you can see, and then right around the corner. Posts are just not what they used to be. But I think we'll run with this wheat. I'll drive round and I'll show you the barley in a sec. And here is the barley on this side of the hedge. Now, there is a gate down there I could go and show you. I wanted to stop just here because I wanted to explain this bit that isn't growing. But the barley there looks pretty good. There's about a 15 acre block there, because this corner's really heavy, and there's a heavy bit down that bottom corner that's part of the mid-tier, even though we're now out of mid-tier, but that's a video for another day. The 15 acres kind of in the middle of that field is coming pretty decent, apart from this bit here, and this bit is actually the same heavy piece that's down on the wheat, which is just the other side of the hedge, which is not a coincidence, because I would argue that these two fields are freest draining fields, are actually quite stony, they're pretty decent fields. But this piece here used to be, years ago, a brook line, and some smart ass came along and dug a new ditch down there with a spade and diverted the water that way, and then farmed this bit. But as you can see, it's great and it's very fertile when it's not wet, but when it is wet, the water just runs down there, and you can see it's super wet there, and it just flows, and it flows all the way down, right down across the wheat, and then it ends up in the brook, which is just the other side of that hedge there. The barley, I don't know, maybe might just mow it, to be honest. That's the only barley that we've got out of the 70 odd acres that we drilled. Perhaps we'll just mow it out, whole crop it, rather than run with it, because it is a bit patchy. It's a bit of a mess. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. I've just loaded Dad up with some straw now in the straw shredder, and it seems to be going all right. So fingers crossed that is that problem solved and a disaster avoided, which is good. We're going to just bed these cows down now. He's just done these in the bottom yard here because we want to bed early tomorrow, ready for our bit of a road trip. Because we're trying to be early as well tomorrow, I'm going to strip all of these bales off, take the net off, take the wrap off, so that we just need to chuck them in the shredder in the morning. So there we go. I'm getting good at that. Saves a lot of time when you can just click your fingers and then it's all done. I'm going to crack on getting everything bedded up with Dad. I'm going to get those middle yard cows out to feed, and we can get rounded up for tonight and get ready for tomorrow morning. Whatever you get up to this weekend, have a great one. Look after yourselves, and I will see you in a bit. Oh, and wrap up warm, because apparently next week it's going to be very, very cold. See you in a bit. Ta-da!